The other thing I want to talk about are 3-day notices. They come up all the time in landlord-tenant law. What is a 3-day? What is this 3-day notice? Why am I always hearing that when we're doing eviction cases? And 3-day notices are the statutory requirement that has to occur and be served on a tenant prior to evicting a tenant for failure to pay rent. What does this notice say? It's written in the statute, or if you were to go and buy a set of forms from the local courthouse, you would find a 3-day notice in there, and it basically sets forth the amount of rent and only rent which is due, not late charges, not interest, not fixing the couch with the cat scratched, and none of that stuff, just rent. And it gives the tenant 3 days, which are set forth, to pay up the rent that is owed or return possession. This notice, which seems so simple, is almost always the source of legal problems, if there are going to be legal problems in an eviction, because our courts have decided on many things that you would only see if you wanted to be boring enough to look up and read decided cases of Florida law. For instance, your 3-day notice can only ask for rent. Your 3-day notice has to give a full 3 days, not counting legal holidays, not counting weekends, and not counting the day of service. So that has to be done in that method. And if it has to be served, if rent has to be paid out of county or to a post office box, you have to figure in that the rent could be mailed. And so 3-day notices turn into 8-day notices. 3 days plus 5 days, which is what the court has determined it takes to mail something. So they turn into 8-day notices. So that's what a 3-day notice, and any landlord who is thinking about trying to collect rent, particularly if that rent is well overdue, maybe you haven't collected rent in a couple of months, your thought process is on how to construct 3-day notices and how to serve them, and to do so properly, because you're not going to be able to proceed beyond that without first doing a 3-day notice. And by the way, the notice asks for pay up the rent or give me possession back, and you would be happy probably if you were a landlord if either of those two things occurred.